Hello and welcome to Bombay Talkies. My guest is someone who until recently was probably known to a smaller, more select group of people in India who've been tracking his films, his brilliant, edgy films for many years. But now, after Slumdog Millionaire, has acquired the status of a Bollywood director, almost. Danny Boyle joins me.
Hiya.
Thanks very much. You're aware now that you're officially a Bollywood filmmaker.
I'm very honoured to be here and to be thought of one of the community in some way.
But it's quite funny in some ways how the film has been almost adopted as an Indian film. It's quite interesting how that happens. It happens in India quite a lot, by the way. It happened with Gandhi, and it's now happened with you.
Obviously, we made the film with virtually an entire Bollywood crew and cast.
Right.
So it should belong here partly. You know,
Yeah.
I'm very flattered if people think that it. If people don't think it's the work of an outsider, really, because I wanted it to. Because obviously the story is the story of a kid from here, from the slums.
Yes, of course.
Who goes the whole way, really. So it should feel like a subjective film. It shouldn't feel like an objective film looking at Mumbai from the outside.
But you know, with a lot of the praise and a lot of the success, at least, or the build-up here, has also come some sort of critical commentary, which I don't know if you've heard or seen. You know, Amitabh Bachchan, who makes a sort of de facto appearance in the film, seems to have been a little bit unhappy with some of the representation, you know, particularly of the slums and the poverty. But I guess you were expecting some of that, or you weren't?
Yeah, it's always going to be. I mean, it's such an extraordinary city which we benefited from, you know, because the film is a love story to the city, really, a love letter to the city. You're never going to be able to capture it all, nor are you ever going to be able to satisfy everyone. I mean, that's the whole definition of this place, is it's always out of reach of a filmmaker. You can grasp a little bit of it, and then it's gone away from you. So it will never please everyone. The truth is that we have benefited, that scene that Amitabh Bachchan are brought together in a kind of celebration, and so we've benefited enormously from
having Amitabh, if not
in person, at least.
but yeah, sort of symbolically,
a version of himself.
But have you had a chance to have a word with him at all? Any interaction with him?
No,
I
would like to have met him, but we never got to meet him. I was very lucky. I met SLK. Shahrukh Khan. I met Shahrukh Khan a couple of times. He was very gracious, and I met a lot of other people here who were incredibly welcoming. It is even before it was a success.
Yes.
And people were very gracious and helpful to me making the film. Not just the crew, you know, but kind of just local people in the community and the film community.
But in fact, you said somewhere, I read in an interview that when you were going through the script, that was one of the scenes that hooked you. The fact that little Jamal literally jumps into this like sewer of shit and just kind of wades through it.
I think it's because all his character is in that moment. He's prepared to go through anything to get to his dream, which at that time in his life is Amitabh Ji. That's his dream at that moment. Whereas later on in life, it's this girl.
Yes.
And again, he'll go through anything to get there. You know, so it's great when it encapsulates a character's everything about a character, and is also a very funny scene, you know, and people enjoy watching it. This is in toilets, you know, whereas other nations don't worry about that stuff so much.
Well, we do to some extent, and we don't as well, which is why you know, the parts of Bombay are like an open toilet. But all this business, Danny, about poverty porn, as some call it, do you believe that there is an element of that in the film, or do you believe that the film at points is guilty of that?
I try to. Everything I do is I try to do it to the absolute maximum.
Right.
I try to make it as vivid as possible.
It's called you call it extreme storytelling or extreme filmmaking.
Which is why I love coming here, of course. Which is why I felt so at home here, because it's such an extreme city in a way, and I love cities that are like that. You know, I went to New York in the early '80s, and that was like that.